All right, so let's talk about the current state of Tron Dapps, Tron TRX Dapps, or passive income Dapps. Although this isn't really, there's a lot of, in the Dapp space, there's a lot of things that have to do with passive income, so we're naturally going to mention that, but that's really not as much the focus as the actual Dapp itself. Now we're going to cover the withdrawal contracts, the ROI type Dapps, like you're looking at here, Tron Double. We're going to cover the various casino Dapps, where I see them at, where I see the future at, and what do I see happening long term in the cryptocurrency Tron TRX Dapp space. Now, this is important. Hang on, I just forgot something. I need to make a quick note so I don't forget to tell you about it. The very end, I'm going to cover what I think long term is going to happen in this space. But before I get there, let me just say this. This is not I appreciate those of you that have subscribed and those of you that watch my videos. I talk out of a place of enthusiasm and passion about cryptocurrency in general. I am very bullish long term on three things. I'm very bullish long term on blockchain technology and where it's going, and if you agree with that, you want to subscribe to this channel. I'm very bullish long term on cryptocurrency being used as an actual digital currency in some way. Currently, most likely that's going to be Bitcoin. And if you agree with crypto being used as a currency, I believe that's the #1 best use case for it overall, then please make certain you subscribe to this channel. The third thing that I am very enthusiastically excited about, more so because Tron has shown me the potential more than anything else. I started out messing with Ethereum, but Tron has really shown me the potential more than anything else. It doesn't mean Tron's going to be the best at it. It just means that so far, I think in so many ways they're the market leader, and that has to do with running decentralized applications on a blockchain. If you're not familiar with what a Dapp is, it's essentially a type of a software program as you would know it today, but it's really not so much software as it is a smart contract. But it functions like any other traditional software program, such as, any sort of software, any sort of game that you imagine. One day that game or that software, that application, that word processor that you've used before, whether it's Word or anything else, one day that may be able to run off the blockchain. Even the internet itself one day may be able to run off a decentralized blockchain. So those are three things that I'm absolutely passionate about and that I believe, and that's what my channel is about. But I'm not an expert in this space, and I'm just an absolute avid enthusiast who truly believes that decentralization is the way of the future. Now, I'm not yet certain that the world at large will recognize it. I believe they will, but I'm not certain that it will happen. I can see both scenarios, and I've talked about that a lot on this channel. But what I am certain is that decentralization is best for mankind. Like ultimately, if we don't live in a more decentralized world, I think that we as citizens of this planet suffer a great loss. I believe that it's to our benefit as citizens in this world, on this planet, to be able to live in a much more decentralized world. Decentralization brings freedom to the individual. And it allows you to have more, to govern more of your own life. And so therefore I am avid about the future of decentralization, about the future of cryptocurrency and decentralized applications. Today we're going to talk about where we're at currently with Dapps. I heard another YouTuber, Truce, you should look him up on YouTube, he has a great channel. He mentioned in one of his live streams that he thought that the current state of Dapps was very similar to where mobile gaming was in the very beginning, where the first gaming apps that would come on that you could download on a mobile device, 5-10 years ago were just like garbage, right? They just weren't that great. And now there's apps on, in the Google Play Store and the iPhone Store or Apple Store, whatever it's called. Obviously, I'm not an Apple user, but there's apps that you almost use every day, whether it's Google Maps or some sort of messaging platform or texting platform. Like you use it every day. You couldn't imagine going without it. There's an app out there for practically everything. I believe he's right when he says that we're in the infant stages now, and there may come a time where instead of it being a mobile app, it'll be a mobile decentralized app in some way. But where we're at today, we're not there yet, obviously. And I think I know why we're not there. or I think I know what it's going to take for us to get there. But again, this is just my observations and being in this space. If I share any knowledge with you that makes me sound like I have some sort of an insight, I don't. Anytime you gain experience, you gain more knowledge. It doesn't mean that I'm smarter than anyone else. It just means that I have been playing in this space and I'm seeing things and I'm seeing I'm seeing trends, and I feel like I know what's, you feel like you have a little bit more of a pulse on what's going on. And feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Let's dialogue in the comments. I would love to hear about it. But I want to talk about this because I did a live stream the other night where for 3 or 4 hours, and this question came up in the live stream 2 or 3 different times. So I want to address some of these questions here in this one video. Right now, this is one of the ROI, return on investment or withdrawal dApps that's out there. And this is one that's currently shrinking that I've been a part of. I'm probably not going to win on this one. I'm probably going to lose. I'm going to do a withdrawal now. But just to explain what these are and where they're at, and they're extremely popular. The first one was P3T, which is officially dead. It died yesterday or today or whatever. And basically the idea behind these dApps or decentralized apps is you put Tron in, and then you start receiving 3% to 3.5% per day, depending on which one you put in, every single day for as long as there's Tron in the contract. Now this is a smart contract, so there's not any individual holding this, right? And basically the first people who go in ends up basically, in theory, if it gets big enough, there's enough people going into it, in theory, the first people who go in will earn a bit of a profit. Some of the people who came in towards the end will not get all of their, like I might not hear. If this ended today, I would lose roughly about 4,000 Tron. That means somebody would have earned, somebody else would have profited, or a group of people would have profited part of that 4,000 Tron. The idea is it's a bit of a game. It's a Ponzi scheme. I didn't say it's a Ponzi scam. There's a difference. A scam is when you're misled. This is very clear. If you read through the website, it's very clear what's going on here. It's an audited, open source smart contract. Nobody's holding this balance. It's in a decentralized contract. Nobody can change it or adjust a contract. You can read the contract right here. You can view it yourself. But this is an example of it, and there's been a bunch of these. There's some still going. There's new ones starting every single day. This one, I've talked about them on this channel before. This one I wouldn't, I'm not going to have an affiliate link for this one in the description because it's shrinking, and I think it would be crazy right now to even mess with it. But this one here also is shrinking, unfortunately. I really like this one. It's only 12 days old, by the way, and it's shrinking. Somebody put something in here today. That was not smart. You should not be putting anything in here. Withdraw. I'm withdrawing a couple times a day only because they're shrinking, and they can go down very, very fast. If you watch my channel, do not put anything into stockpile because it's just going down. Again, it's only lasted for 12 days. And this had a lot of potential, but what's happened? Why are they going down? I think I know the answer to that. Now this one, bankroll, a lot of people are excited about this one. I think this will be the last best hoorah. I don't know how much bigger it's going to get. At some point, people are going to start withdrawing. And this withdrawal number it's growing pretty fast already. I mean, look, there was 146 in here. Already almost a third of this has been withdrawn. So it's withdrawing fast. Bank Luck is supposed to come out, which is a game that I think is going to attempt to help it, and I think it may help it some. I don't know how much it's going to help it. We'll have to wait and see. It depends on if people use the game. It's a bit of a gambling game that's designed to help people stay involved and pull out their dividends and withdraw and gamble some more. And who knows? If they're going to get that game out, they better get it out fast. When you've already lost a third of your contract, I mean, it's going to go down fast from here, I believe. That's just my opinion. By the way, this total deposits includes this. That means people have donated $53,000 for whatever reason into this. So this thing's almost ate through all the donations, and it's still going down. So we'll have to wait and see what Bank Luck does. It's supposed to come out any day now. People are all excited about it, and that's great. But at the end of the day, all of these dApps end. Now, what I don't like about this one here is I don't think they've been fully transparent. More people are talking about it now in a way that I think is fair, but it says sustainable daily cash flow for all. That makes it seem like it's forever. First of all, there is no cash flow. It's Tron flow. And Tron is not considered a actual currency by any stretch. It's a crypto asset, and cryptocurrency is not actually considered currency as far as I know. It's not fully recognized as a currency in most places, but it's a sustainable daily Tron flow, I guess you could say, for all. But it's not even sustainable. It's not. There's absolutely no way, there by no mathematical law in this smart contract is this even possible to be sustainable. And that's important for people to understand. None of these current ROI withdrawal contracts are designed to last forever. It's mathematically impossible for you to get 3.3% a day, period. End of story. Will this continue to grow? Well, it's continued to grow a bit so far. Will it hit 110 today? I don't know. It's going to start having some downward pressure from the withdrawals. I believe the biggest players may already be withdrawing, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with Bank Luck. I will have a link to Bankroll down in the description, but it's high risk. I think it's still growing. I've got to keep an eye on it. I encourage you to watch it for a few days before you make a decision. If you see tomorrow it's at 110 right here in the balance, and then the next day it goes up a little bit more and it continues to go up, then maybe. But just be careful. Just be careful. If you want to gamble, there's plenty of places to quote-unquote gamble your Tron, I think, outside of playing with a withdrawal contract like this one. But again, what do I know? I'm not an expert in this space. These are just simply observations. So one of the questions that I was asked is, do I think these are dead? I don't know if you mean dead as in they're no longer going to exist. No, they're not dead in that sense. There will always be another withdrawal contract coming out. Always. There's always a way. I mean, it's an interesting game if you think about it. And almost nobody, like if you play in a traditional casino, you can go into that casino with $1 million, you can walk out broke. It's kind of hard in these withdrawal contracts, if you pay attention to the contract, to totally be broke. Yeah, you can lose. You can put in $1 million Tron and you might not get it all back, but you're not going to get zero. As long as you start withdrawing, every day you're going to get some of it back. And you may get 10%, 30%, 50%, 80% of it back. Just like I showed you Tron Double earlier. I don't know if I'm going to get 16 back out of that. But I'm going to probably get 12, 13, 14, maybe 15, maybe 16, depending on how many more days it lasts. I mean, people are withdrawing. But you're not going to lose everything. I think they're fascinating social experiments. And if you look at them as the game that they are, then I think they're a lot of fun. If you look at them as some sort of sustainable investment, then that's absolutely patently false. And if somebody tells you that, you need to unsubscribe from their channel and never ever watch what they say, because they are selling you absolute snake oil if they try to convince you that any of these withdrawal contracts are actually a good investment for the long run. And I don't think most people are doing that, by the way. But if you hear somebody doing that, either they are literally just misguided and they don't know what they're in at all, which is definitely not someone you want to follow, or they're intentionally being misleading. So, just it is what it is. I give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess, but just don't choose to. I would not choose to watch what they're doing. So with that being said, do I think they're dead? I think their popularity is past. I think their peak is past, and here's why. It's very similar. Those of you that have been around long enough to know what proof of weekends is, FOMO 3D. It's easiest to show it in FOMO 3D. So FOMO 3D, we'll just call it a withdrawal contract. That's not what it was. There's a lot of versions of this out there. Tron has their own versions. There's multiple versions on Ethereum, multiple versions on Tron. There are probably versions on EOS and everything else. But the idea is basically, it was also set up as a game. But what ends up happening is there's two losers in the game. The people who get greedy, they keep reinvesting or keep playing, and the people who come in last. Those people lose. So let's just say, and FOMO 3D is a good example of this because they got huge. But let's just say that the round one of FOMO 3D was massive. I don't know. I think there was I forget, like $1 million USD worth of Ethereum or something in there, crazy like that. It was a lot that was in that first prize pool that got won. And I personally thought, man, now that people know what this is about, the second round is going to be even more crazy. But it wasn't. And a lot of people like to say that the reason that the second round wasn't good is because of the way the first round was won. Suppose there was a glitch in Ethereum, blah, blah, blah. Some sort of robots won it. et cetera, et cetera. Someone gamed the system, gamed the blockchain. I don't think that was the reason, because none of those have ever actually taken off. I think the real reason is because people lost. So people go in with false expectations that they think something's going to, no matter what you say, you can tell people, hey, this is risky, you shouldn't do it. And some people literally throw caution to the wind, greed or whatever, and they think they're going to win. They think they're going to be able to succeed. And when they don't win, they feel hurt. Or they're like, oh, it's a scam. No, it wasn't a scam. A scam is when it doesn't operate as it was advertised. When it operates as it was advertised, that doesn't make it a scam. So bankroll ultimately is going to drain. And if you realize that, then you realize what it is. If you think it's a sustainable investment, then either someone has lied to you or someone told you that, then that's the person scamming you. But this is not a sustainable long-term investment at all, nor will it ever be. In fact, if you look at these two numbers, I don't think it looks very good personally. We'll see what happens when Bankrupt comes out, but we'll see. And so all of these will eventually end. Now, when will it end? Will Bankroll last another 30 days? I don't know. It could last another 30 days, another 3 months, 6 months, a year. I don't know how long it could last. But we all know that inevitably it will end. But there will be losers. There will be people who will not hit ROI. There will be people who will not even get their money back out of it. They'll lose, or their Tron out of it. They'll lose Tron. And then there will be other people who will make Tron. The problem is there's this belief, and I had the same belief initially, that even the people who lose Tron will see the people who won, like in FOMO, and they'll next time want to jump in earlier, faster to be the winners. And I think for some people this happens. But so far, experience has shown us that less people come back in after they lose. And so what happens is the pool, so to speak, of total players or participants shrinks. And when that happens, I promise you, when bankroll ends, there are going to be people whining and complaining all over the internet and YouTube channels and blah, 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 blah. Even though they know exactly what it is, even though they're grown adults, they will still complain. It happens all the time. It is what it is. God bless them. Move along, people. But when that happens, they're less likely to do something else. Like, I've had, people tell me, this is my last ROI contract. I keep losing to the whales. You haven't lost to the whales. You've lost to timing. Either you jump in early and then nobody likes Stockpile. Stockpile just hasn't even hit 2 million, or maybe it just touched 2 million. I got in pretty early on Stockpile. 12 days is still early. It's not even 2 full weeks yet, but it's already shrinking. Okay, so I got in on day 4 or 5. Maybe the people who got in on day 1 or 2 might ROI, but I'm not going to probably. So either you get in early and then the contract never takes off, or the contract really explodes so you jump in, but sometimes you're already too late. Either way, there's no way for everyone to win. It's a zero-sum game. So, and by the way, life is a zero-sum game. Stock investing is a zero-sum game. There are always winners. There are always losers. There is no exception to that. I love when people are like, let's all go invest in a stock because then it's going to go up. No, that's just like the craps table. When the craps table is going well, everybody's winning. When the craps table is going bad, everybody's losing. Same thing in the stock market. Somebody's winning, someone's losing. There's always winners and losers. So you understand the rules of the game and you do your best to play within those rules. So I think that enough people have gotten burned in the ROI to withdrawal contract that the pool of players is really small. And I think they're past their peak, at least for a good long while. Unless there's something that comes out that looks innovative and exciting. But I think the ROI withdrawal contracts are definitely losing their appeal. The excitement's over. Not enough people have, even people who in the beginning might have ROI'd really good on the early ones like P3T, Tron Village, whatever the others, Black Pearl. Some of those people, now they aren't doing as well on these other platforms. So people get burned, they're tired of losing, so then they stop, which is, okay, that's natural evolution. So I think they're past their prime, but they haven't totally ended. Now let's talk about the casino dApps, because that's another ball game altogether. That's something a little bit different. And I find this fascinating, the casino dApps, and when I say casino dApps, I'm talking about everything from, Tron Raiders, it's kind of a casino dApp, but they got one game. and it's not even revolutionary, but interestingly enough, people are liking it. I don't fully understand why. I'll come to that in a moment. I do have 20 rubies, by the way. I said I was going to get 3 or 4 today. I kind of FOMO'd a little bit simply because the dividends are looking good. Look at these dividends. We're still averaging over 3 dividends per ruby, which I think is interesting. So I wanted to get 30, but I haven't got there yet. But then there's Dootron, which is a little more unique. There's also Royal Online Vegas, and they're sorry, this is the US version. When you come to the website, this is what you see. You have to click over here. People are like, how do I get to that game? You have to click on the ROV TRX to get this page. And then there's 2 games basically, Poker Dice or Poker Hero. Poker Dice is a remake. Poker Hero is unique in the DApp space. It's the only poker game like this I've seen. We're talking about Tron Crush. Their divs are sucking really bad today, like brutal. 5,000, like that's just brutal. 888. Let's look at their divs. All right, we'll talk about that in a minute. Then there's Tron Bet. We'll talk about their divs. Tron Vegas. I don't even know how to see their divs. Their divs are interesting. By the way, I haven't not ever really talked about Tron Vegas on my videos. I won't talk about it today. So these are all the different types of casino dApps. So what we've seen here is we've seen this big pump and dump. And I saw a YouTuber talking earlier, and I thought, I mean, I see people talking. It's a little bit frustrating because I see everything kind of from like sort of the business model approach and appealing to consumers. And I think that so far, all these casinos so far have missed the mark because they've kind of intentionally or unintentionally, they focus primarily on the miners, people mining the tokens. So we've seen these big pumps and these huge dividends. Tron Bet was first, then 888. Tron Bet was interesting, and it appeared to be more logical and reasonable. It probably ran the longest, earning 1+% a day. And then 888 came out, and it's like everybody jumped on 888. And 888 set the record for probably a few reasons. A, they have a higher house edge, so there's much more earning potential for that platform because the house edge is double Tron Bet. But again, miners missed out on Tron Bet, myself included. When I saw 888 and I saw what good the divs were, I jumped all over it. And like all over it. And I went nuts. I thought, this is crazy. This is unbelievable. But here's what I loved about it. It was the same thing I liked about Tron Bet. I like these casino dApps because they're blockchain companies providing a product or a service to a consumer. The withdrawal contracts are nothing but about the only consumer is the quote unquote investor. And the investors, part of the investors are always going to lose. The casinos are, yes, about giving you a chance to gamble, but when you gamble, there's no long-term expectation of winning. The businesses work. The casinos in Vegas weren't built on the winners. They were built on the losers, right? So if you go to Vegas and you decide to walk into a casino, you're not planning to make a living at the roulette table. You're not planning to make a living at the craps table or at blackjack, unless you're counting cards at blackjack. You're not planning to make a living. You're going for entertainment. Win or lose, as long as you game responsibly, in the long run, you hope to win, but that's the hope. In the long run, you're going to lose. Ultimately, what you're looking for is being able to get entertained while you're in there. Have fun getting entertained. So that's what's interesting about these casino dApps. I think that long term, I don't think the casino dApps are dead. I've heard people say, I'm not talking about these casino dApps, and all of a sudden they started promoting withdrawal contracts. Hello. I would argue somewhere between, I would say around 50% of people are losing out on the withdrawal contracts. 50%. Now, of the miners that are losing out on 88 Tron, the short-term miners, a lot of them are losing. If you jumped in trying to look for the payout and then you sold, you're just going to lose. But if you see it as a business model in the long term, then I think a lot of these platforms have potential. Now, like any business, in 60 days, 90 days, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, a lot of these are going to be gone. Maybe 1 or 2 will survive. And if they do, you're going to be glad you held on your tokens, which is why I'm holding tokens on practically every single one of these gaming platforms. It's just a form of diversification. So they're not dead, but why are the divs so low? I want to address that. The reason the divs were super high in the first place was because of miners, and it's a herd mentality. I mean, all of a sudden, it's the same exact thing that happened with the withdrawal contracts happened with the casinos. TronBet, people got in. They got in, they mined. Then all of a sudden, it started getting trading on a platform, and the mining still maintained for a while and sustained for quite a while. But it started dipping, and it started dipping, and then people sold out. They were getting burned. They were sold out. So people who sold, some of them ended up losing, even though they had good div payouts. If they kept using the dividends to mine more, it's no different than reinvesting in a withdrawal contract. You mine more, you hold the tokens, then all of a sudden a lot of people dump the token prices. And I have an issue with people saying, oh, the whales are dumping and they're manipulating. Listen, manipulation is absolutely possible. Absolutely. And maybe there are some big players that are dumping. But I think that if I had to guess, I would bet that it's more than one or two large players. I would bet that it's a whole bunch of small players that are dumping. Because it's harder for a whale to dump because if you go look at the like KiwiDex and the different exchanges, Tron Trade, there's just not enough liquidity to be able to dump, like $50,000 worth of tokens, $50,000 worth of tokens. Like it's just not enough. There's not enough liquidity there. And so I would venture to say that yes, maybe some whales are dumping, but it's a bunch of smaller people that are also dumping as well, a bunch. And so it's the same thing that happens with withdrawal contracts. So ante lasted the longest. 888 would have probably been the next longest, and it probably still was the next longest. It would have probably lasted longer had the website not glitched on their third payout, I think it was. It was a record payout. 250 million Tron got paid out in divs. But then the website glitched, and same thing. People were panicked. They didn't want to be the last out, so they started dumping. And heck, I held on all the way from 30. And I ended up losing out on 888 for the most part, but I still hold 3,000 tokens. And if I sort of wished I hadn't sold some of my tokens looking back on, even though the prices come down more. Because long term, I believe in all these platforms. I can tell you this. I sold my ante. I had over 1,000 ante, and I sold, and I wish I still had my original 1,000 ante, because I personally want more of these tokens in all the platforms. Because long term, I don't know who's going to succeed, but I promise you, somewhere, somehow, as long as Tron exists, there will be a Tron casino eventually that's going to be more mainstream in the Tron space with TRX. Like everybody in Tron's going to know about it. Everybody's going to be playing it. Is it currently in the space? I don't know. But I do believe one's going to exist eventually. But the reason, the miners, people got crushed. And then what happens is, ante didn't last as long, just like the withdrawal contracts. People got hurt. So the next time they decided they either didn't participate or they chose to participate, but they wanted to get out first. And when they wanted to get out first, it means that the herd started selling sooner. And when the herd started selling sooner, the lifespan of earnings from miners ended up being a lot shorter. And then Tron Crush came along. They had their own share of problems, but they basically had one really good dividend payout, and that was it. Now, I didn't sell any of my Tron Crush, even when it became TCT. I'm not selling any of it right now, even with this big fat zero. I'm not selling any of it. I don't know where it's going to go long term. I'm going to hold on to these. It just is what it is. And we'll see what ends up happening with the divs. A whopping 5,000 divs is not a lot, that's for sure. But let's see what eventually happens. Who knows? By the way, I want to see. People are still betting on this, and it's about to... Is this going to... Am I about to make a 200 Tron bet right now? Yes, I am. I don't even care. Rolling to 54. This cannot happen. Sorry. I stopped the current video to see what happens here. There's someone else playing. They're literally, look, this is interesting. They're literally only playing. They're only playing every 200 second, every 2 minutes. So this is doing exactly what it should do, by the way. Exactly what it should do. Sorry, I've got to stop. I got to pause this video for a minute. Okay, so just wanted to see if people were paying attention, and they are. They're literally rolling every few moments. If it gets down to like 10 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and try it again. I would love to catch that on camera. We're on round 2. Someone's going to win this today or tomorrow, if I had to guess. But this is doing exactly what it should do. It's keeping people playing every couple of minutes, which is really fascinating. You know I like the martingale. So let's start at 200. Oh, never mind. All right, I'll give it one more minute. Let's just see. All right, so I was watching it. Listen, this mega jackpot is operating exactly as it's supposed to. It's keeping people engaged. It's keeping people playing. I was watching it. I was playing. I actually made some big bets. I was trying to just play a little bit, make it like someone's engaged and stop and kind of watch and see if the clock would count down. I was waiting finally for it to get down to like 20 seconds, and I was going to try to roll and see if I could just snag it. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. All right. I'm going to tell you what. If it did that, that would be awesome. It looks like when you roll, I thought you reset the whole clock. I guess it only resets about 10 seconds. But anyway, somebody's probably going to win that today or tomorrow. It's absolutely operating as advertised. But here's the reality. People aren't going to be chasing that down every single day. And that's really what's happened with the miners. Not enough. I mean, it's enough to keep it from going, for now, the way of like, quote unquote, all bet, which is almost a non-functioning DApp casino. So it will be interesting to see what happens in the long run. If they can keep people engaged, can they come up with new development? Who knows? That's why divs are so low. When you talk about why are divs so low, first of all, it wasn't ever sustainable that these casino DApps were gonna be able to keep divs going for 10% a day, 5% a day, 20% a day. Even I don't even think 1% a day was ever going to be truly sustainable. However, if you look at crypto dividend, there are a few of these that have been able to, put out 0.2, 0.3 dividend percent a day. 0.3% a day, ladies and gentlemen, is 10% a month. You can't find me anything anywhere in the world that's able to earn you 10% a month with any sort of consistency. Now, maybe these can't either, but at least for now, there's some of them putting out 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5% a day, 1% a day on occasion. And I think that there's some good earning days ahead for some of these platforms. But I think what it's going to come down to is they have to stop focusing on miners and start focusing on players. And that's really going to be the key is can they create a playing experience that attracts more gambling players than just miners. In fact, on my channel, I'm going to start covering, and I've been doing it the past video or two, kind of more gambling strategies, tips if you want to gamble, things like that, bankroll management, etc. I'm going to cover some of that, some of that sort of stuff on my channel, because there's a lot of stuff, even when it comes to gambling, people are like, why do I still lose? If I have a 95% chance of winning and I'm mining, why am I still losing Tron? Like, people don't understand the basics. So how come if I martingale 10 times in a row, shouldn't the odds mean the 11th time I should win? No. If you think that if you place a 50-50 bet, if you flip a coin heads or tails and you bet on heads and you lose 10 times in a row, if you think the odds are increased down the 11th flip, you're going to get tails, then I'm going to explain why that's not the case. That's a common gambling fallacy that exists. What are the odds of it hitting 10 times in a row? Well, you're not betting the odds of 10 times in a row. You're betting that it's 50-50, heads or tails, every single time. And there's nothing that says that coin can't land on tails 100 times in a row, because every individual flip is 50-50. Every individual flip is 50-50. So there's no law of gravity or whatever that's going to change that coin that says, you know what, it's flipped tails 25 times in a row, it has to flip heads next. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Casinos know this. That's why roulette, if you ever look at a roulette table, they'll show you what numbers have come up. What you may not know is casinos saw profitability increase when they put that at the roulette tables when they put up that standing digital sign that shows how many times reds come up or how many times blacks come up or what numbers. Because people think, oh, black's been 6 times in a row, red's got to come next. That's absolutely patently false. Now, on sheer statistics, over time, it should even out on over group statistics, but each individual role is an individual role. And I'll cover some of that stuff on this channel just because it's gambling related. And that really services the gambling customer, which all these dApps need. They need players, they need gamblers who want to gamble responsibly, and be able to play. Tron Raider. I was playing with Tron Raider today. Totally just gambling on it. Put a video out showing my kind of martingale strategy, two-sided martingale strategy that I was doing at the time. Why did I put that out? Because in order for Tron Raider to play, it's really focused on gamblers. I can't even tell you right now. Kiwi Dex is showing that this ruby has went up to like, I think 55 Tron. Have no idea why that is. It's not even rational to me. It's okay. I mean, it is what it is. We're in an irrational space. But the dividends are still looking pretty good. We're going to get over 3 Tron. I'm going to get some more rubies because I kind of have a goal of getting about 100 Tron on average from each of these platforms. Both Dootron, ultimately this thing here, Poker Heroes, even Tron Crush, 888, Tron Bet, on average, which by the way, interestingly enough, Tron Bet right now, I only have 150 of these. If I had 1,500, that would be 50. If I had 3,000 ante right now, I would be on track to get 100 TRX. So for me, being able to pull out 100 TRX from each of these, from something that could truly be sustainable, some of these business models will sustain for many weeks, maybe many months, and possibly some of them for years. I'm okay holding on to these tokens for a very long time. I mean, I've done a little bit of trading, but I'm really, really more about trying to accumulate in the long run. I promise you, when ante pulls back, I'm going to be looking at buying some ante. I'm going to keep buying or keep mining. I'm not going to buy. I'm going to mine Tron Raider as long as the dividends stay, higher than 1-to-1 for sure. And then I'll kind of watch where they're at. I'll see if I can keep them. I'll keep enough rubies if I can to keep my Tron at 100 or more. Dootron's not doing amazing today, but they've been doing pretty well. Again, this jackpot I think is helping because players are playing trying to win this jackpot. That's the primary reason to be playing. Outside the fact that it's fun as well. Divs, we probably won't hit 100 today, but we've been doing over 100, 150. At least I have with this many Do tokens. 100, 150. These do 30,000 plus dues got me about 100, 150 Tron. That's good. If I can average about 100 per platform, I'll be satisfied to hold on to the tokens for a while. I think what it's going to take long term is to focus on players. So there's 2 things that players are looking for. Well, I think let me back that up. They can't focus on the miners. They have to focus on attracting more players. So that means player promotions like the Tesla giveaway, like jackpots that Dootron's doing, like this thing here, which by the way, I'm in 2nd place now. These little giveaways here help sort of promote it. It's not enough. They've got to do things that's going to appeal to masses more, but jackpots do help. Promotions do help. They've got to look for things like that. Player experience overall player experience. Right now, one reason I think Tron Raider might be doing well is because it's graphically more fun than it's a typical Moon game, but it's just more fun to play because of the graphics. Dootron has maintained pretty well compared to the other platforms. Yeah, it's dropped off, but it didn't totally stop. Look at Tron Crush. Tron Crush is almost completely stopped, which I'm shocked by the way. And it's going to be interesting to see if Tron Crush makes a comeback in the next few days. But one of the reasons that this has people have played it so much, one of the reasons I've played it is just because it's fun. It's graphically fun. It's entertaining. Same thing with this hero poker hero. It's literally fun to play. This is actually probably the most fun thing that I've played, period. But it's literally fun to play. Here's another one. Here's proof of that, by the way. Freaking Tron Vegas. Now, Tron Vegas, I cannot believe in the dividends. If you look at crypto dividend, this thing has made a massive resurgence. It's the highest earning, as of this morning, it was the highest earning Tron casino at like 0.7 or 1%. Why? I think it's game selection. There's still a lot of tokens not mined, and I think it's game selection. There's so many games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more games than every other platform together. It's graphically a little bit better than 888, and it's graphically better than TronBet at the very moment. Although I think the graphics look a bit childish, but they're better than looking at primarily a black screen. So I think it's probably game selection. So I think it's game selection. I think it's promotions. Those sort of things are going to attract players. And I think it's better and better games. And we need to see what this space comes out with overall. There's a lot of talk about PvP poker. And the other day you can go to trontables.io. The other day in my live stream, a lot of people were talking about Tron tables, but I went to Tron tables earlier. Let's see what's going on now. And this is where I'm kind of like pessimistic on PvP poker. People are like, oh, that's going to blow it up. Oh, that wasn't it. Tron tables, is it .com? Is that it? I couldn't believe this earlier. When people were talking about my live stream, I was like, okay, that's exciting. I want to check it out. And then you come over here. Very clean, simple user interface. Click enter. And what do we got? We've got nothing. We have not even one person playing. Not even one. Now I may start, if you all want to, I may start a Friday night game where we all decide to come in here on Friday night and play. But it sucks right now. Like there's absolutely nothing going on. So when people are like, "Oh, if TronBet gets PvP poker, then it's going to be awesome." Well, not according to Tron tables. There's literally nothing going on here. Nothing. So I don't know that PvP poker is going to be the game changer. It will be another thing to play, and maybe it's because not enough people know about Tron tables. I don't know. Maybe now that you all know it, you'll come in here and hang out. Earlier, I saw one person sitting here, and I sat down on a table and waited for a while, and nobody joined. So maybe we'll get together and do like a Saturday night ring game. I don't know. It doesn't. Wait, let me see if there's anything. And if you guys know the story behind starting ASAP, so there's nothing going on. Registered 5 of 10. There's people trying to play right here. They're trying to play in a tournament. So there are people registered for this tournament. Maybe the same 5 people. So come over and check out Tron tables. You can play a little bit of tournament poker if you want. Maybe, here's the thing. The thing about these is they have set times. So maybe that's why people... Oh, wait a minute. These are the stakes. There's nobody playing. Sorry, I thought there were people registered. So it's going to be interesting to see. This looks like it could be a good... It looks like it could be a good platform. But nobody's doing anything. Let's come over to normal speed. There's nothing there. All right, nothing. 0 people. So I don't know that PvP poker is going to be it, but at least it will be another option. Here's the downfall to Tron tables and the advantage to the miners. The miners brought in a bunch of players. It did create some player awareness. With every single one of these platforms, a bunch of people registered accounts, a bunch of people played even if it was for mining. So maybe if they rolled out some new games now like PvP poker for TronBet or Roulette is supposed to be coming out, maybe that's going to make a difference. I'm optimistic that sooner or later someone's going to figure it out. We'll just have to wait and see who that is. We'll just have to wait and see who it is. I'm going to keep an eye on this space and I'm going to keep adding tokens. But here's what the space needs long term. I want to talk about the future. What we need to see long term in the dApp space. First of all, dApps need to bring users for the sake of the game or the utility of the platform, not for profit potential. Profit potential is great if it's there, if it exists, if they have a token you can earn from. That's awesome. And I can show you several examples of this. But it needs to be a platform similar to, I can think of 3 good scenarios of this, really probably 4. But 3 really different, 3 use cases. 2 of them are competitors. And one would be something like Hypersnakes. So let's talk about this for a moment. Tron TRX plans to bring games to the blockchain. While PC and console gaming are booming with each new game release, mobile gaming is not far behind. With that in mind, Tron has put a lot of effort into entering partnerships with gaming companies, promising them a unique method of bringing new games on its own blockchain. At first, many were wondering if this project has a future, and is it even possible to think that big? However, in time, Tron started fulfilling its promise, and the first blockchain game, BitGuild's Magic Academy, which I'm going to look into this, has already been announced. This is only a first step for Tron TRX. However, as it is now obvious that its blockchain has the potential to expand the gaming industry in an entirely new way, one of Tron's biggest and most important partners is Game.com. That's pretty huge for the future of Tron, which is a partnership that Tron has nourished for almost a year now. Game.com is an online gaming platform that centers on blockchain game content, and their cooperation with Tron is bound to bring in even more blockchain-based games. The games will allow users to use cryptocurrencies to make microtransactions, trade, and sell unique items, but also to mine new coins and make a profit during their gaming sessions. In my opinion, this has to be secondary. People have to want to play, make those microtransactions, trade, and sell unique items first. This has to be the secondary goal, and I think that's been the issue with the casino dApps so far. Mining was the primary goal, but if this is the secondary goal, then this is going to be very interesting. Now, a couple examples of this are things like hypersnakes. Now, I've mostly read articles on hypersnakes. I've played a demo of hypersnakes. I don't find it super easy to play. You gotta have like some sort of special website to go into. They're in beta stage now, but the idea of what I read is it's very much a Slither.io type game. And there's a YouTuber, P3D Heem. You can go check out his channel, P3D Heem, H-E-E-M. He kind of covered this in a little better detail, made a video demo of this, of him playing. But basically, if you've ever played the game Slither.io, then you know how to play hypersnakes, essentially. And if you don't know how to play Slither.io, you should go play it. Go to the website, Slither.io. It's a very fun, addictive game. It's a very simple game. The way Hypersnakes works is it's very similar to Slither.io, but you don't have to be in cryptocurrency to play it. If you just want to play Hypersnakes, then you go sign up and play Hypersnakes. Give them your first, last name, and email address. Just sign up for an account like you would any other gaming platform, period, that's out there. And just play. Register with your account, you win awards, and they're registered to your account, etc. But you also win Tron TRX tokens when playing. And if you don't know what Tron is, it's okay. There are similar platforms that do this. I'm going to show you some examples. It's okay if you don't know what Tron are, but you can still earn them. Now, at some point, you're going to be like, well, what are these Tron? How can I use them? They have a value? I can sell them for USD? How do I do that? They will walk you through the steps of setting up a Tron wallet. So now the game appeals to the mass market and it brings them into the cryptocurrency space. That's ultimately what we have to see, that sort of direction in this space. Now, the question I have is, what is the benefit for gamers on the blockchain? I don't really know the answer to that. Like, why create Hypersnakes? Because it's not actually any better than Slither.io, in my opinion. So what's the advantage to want for a game developer to want to be on the blockchain? Feel free to put that down in the comments. Tell me what you think the answer to that is. But at some point, if a game developer wants to be decentralized and to create a decentralized game, it has to be a game that appeals to players first and foremost, and those players naturally have to want to become cryptocurrency enthusiasts later. I'll show you another example of this. I use this all the time. I've been recording this entire video with it. This is the Cryptotab Browser. This is a Chrome browser. There's a link in the description. By the way, there's a link to all the casinos in the description as well, if you want to play any of those. My favorite right now, Dootron. This one right here, which I don't even have an affiliate link for it, is definitely my favorite right now. And then I'm playing Tron Raider right now. And I did my first video earlier today. But I'm playing Tron Raider because it's currently fun and it's fun to earn dividends more than anything. But neither here nor there. Neither here nor there, someone just messaged me and said, check out this game, so I'll be checking on that later. But neither here nor there, I'll put the links in the description, but the games have to ultimately be like this. Crypto Browser will be in the description. Or utility. This is more of a utility than a game. Use a Crypto Browser website, but as you use a Crypto Browser website, you're earning cryptocurrency. I have some of the top ranking videos on YouTube for Crypto Browser, certain search terms related to Cryptotab Browser. I get people every month, 1 or 2 people that will say, how do I withdraw my Bitcoin? That's huge. That means they started using the Cryptotab browser, not even knowing what a Bitcoin wallet was, what a cryptocurrency wallet was. And then they started earning cryptocurrency, and now they want to withdraw it. So now, and I always send them to like blockchain, the blockchain wallet or whatever. But now they have to learn how to set up a wallet, and then they learn how to withdraw their earnings. People are using it primarily to earn, but they don't even know what Bitcoin is. It's even better if, like, another example of this is going to be BitTorrent. By the way, I know there's the BAT browser out there, Basic Attention Token. It's a whole different token out there, and people talk to me about it all the time, especially when I talk about Crypto Browser on my live feeds. I'm not thrilled currently, and not that it's a bad thing. I choose to use the Cryptotab Browser, and I can cover that in another video. In fact, I should title a video, Cryptotab Browser versus the BAT browser, Basic Attention Token Browser. But they both have they have different functions, but you're able to earn with using either browser. And eventually you're going to want to withdraw. And then even if you don't know how to withdraw, that's when you're going to set up your first wallet if you've never done it before. So it's going to be bringing people into crypto. Another example of this, which God bless Tron, is going to be the BTT token. I don't recommend anyone sell their BTT tokens. This is going to be very interesting long-term, the BTT tokens. They have a little bit of a value now. If you freeze your Tron, you'll get free BTT tokens airdrop to you periodically. But these tokens, there's already, and I should do an entire video on this ecosystem, but basically the BTT token is going to be used for BitTorrent. There's already BitTorrent users already out there. People are already using that entire system for free. There's over like 1 billion downloads on that thing. People are already using it totally for free. Now there's going to be a way to be able to use the platform more efficiently and allow people who are seeding, allowing things to get uploaded, they're going to be able to actually earn something. Now, for the first time ever, BitTorrent's been around for years. No one's ever been able to earn by allowing people to download files from their hard drive. Now you're going to be able to earn something. Those people are going to earn, they're going to be like, wow, you've got these BTT tokens. How do I withdraw them? How do I sell them? Now they're going to learn how to set up a wallet, how to set up an exchange. Again, it's about the utility of the platform. Utility is going to draw people in, and that's where these dApps have to get to. My challenge with the casino dApps is, what can a casino dApp offer that a traditional online casino is not able to offer? And that's going to be the test long term, I think. Now, if you already have Tron, like some of you who are watching this and me, why not go use a Tron dApp? We already own Tron, right? So might as well, if we want to gamble, let's go gamble and play with a little bit of our Tron. But I don't know that the dApps are enough yet, not unless they create really unique games that aren't available on other platforms. And I don't know if there's any game right now that's not available in a traditional casino online gaming platform yet. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. The long-term outlook is that all these dApps have to be able to track users first who want to use the service or the utility of the dApp first and foremost as a user. And they have to be totally satisfied without earning anything, or maybe paying a little something in cryptocurrency to be able to use the utility or the service of the dApp. Earning has to be secondary. It's an extraordinary space that we're a part of. We are literally in its infancy. And even if you think, oh, I don't like the idea that I'm not going to be able to earn from some of these platforms. I'm not going to be able to make 10% a day. Well, you're being short-sighted. The reality is all of this is good for the Tron ecosystem. In the long run, if you just buy and accumulate hold Tron, not investment advice. I'm an amateur in this space. Don't follow my advice if you want to win. I'm currently a net loser. I've suffered through a bear market like many other people. But I personally am looking to hold and hodl and accumulate more Tron long term, because I believe all of these dApps are extraordinary. All this dApp development, what we're seeing right now is development in its infancy. And long term, personally, I'm betting this is going to be huge for the Tron TRX ecosystem. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Thank you so much. That's been my belief on the current future of the dApp space.